What's cracking, everybody? So, wanted to do a video response to Jack Look For, and I promised her I would. Um, but I also, this was something that this topic, the video she just brought out with the TSA and the retinal scans and the scanners and such, is something we talked about. We pretty much talked on and off all day about it, and it's. Forgive me if I really wanted to make this video up at the dresser, pacing a little bit with some fire, but um, I think I got some food poisoning. I'm pretty sure I do. I won't describe the symptoms, but they're pretty fucking rough. Of course, I had my kids this weekend, so I just had to deal with it. And I'm not a wuss by any means, but I was I was told earlier by somebody close to me, suck it up, Nancy, and deal with it, which was good advice. So that's what I've been doing, sucking it up and dealing with it. So if I seem a little uncomfortable, I shift. If I shift a lot in place, I'm just trying to get comfortable. I'm in some pain. So anyway, back to the matter at hand. There's some real I have some very strong emotions about this stuff. It's pretty disgusting. I mean, Jack Look talked about being a mom with her kids, and that was something we talked about too. I've got a couple of kids, one who's old enough to walk through the scanner himself, but very young. And, I'll be damned if I'm going to have someone fondle his private parts or grope him for the sake of, because he's 4 years old, because he's a suspect like anyone else. What really this boils down to is just that. Miss Ella made a comment in the video that I agreed with, and it was I mean, for me, it's a matter of the searches too, but it's that everyone's a suspect until proven otherwise, which is ridiculous because this, it's almost like a culture now. We've had this culture that's been built up since 9/11 that at any point, at any time, the terrorists could come through and attack us again, and they hate us for our freedoms, and they just want to kill us, and the extremists kill the infidels wherever they may lay or sleep. Believe me, I'm very well versed in religion as far as the Nation of Islam. So it just, the whole idea of it is a fear-mongering campaign. A lot of it is fear-mongering campaign. It's to build a culture where people are accept or are desensitized to the fact that they have to give up their civil rights, and even to some degree their basic rights as human beings, not to be touched, not to be fondled, not to have their bodies violated in that way. So yeah, everybody talks about the opt-out on November 24th, and there's something else. Look, for me, and Heather was right, if they would have tried to put me through the body scanner, the news would have had something to report that day, because I would have opted out and I would have made some noise. So it would have been a problem. I would have got to stay in Detroit another day probably. But it would have been a problem, because in my mind, and this is just me personally, I know it's difficult because people have to get where they have to be. But Heather made the comment. She goes, all this just to get on an Airbus. It's an overglorified bus that flies through the air. That's all it is. You're cramped in the space. You're breathing half toxic air. It's fucking disgusting. And you're going through all this to go through that. Everybody should opt out. Everybody opt out every time, no matter what. And stand together on it. And if they do pat somebody down, everybody stop. Nobody go through the metal detectors. Everyone stop and watch. Everyone play close attention. Turn on your phones. Turn on your camera phones. Make sure that you make it known that this is preposterous. This is ridiculous. Now there's a lot of people out there that go, well, I agree with it. I'll give up a little bit of that just so no terrorists can bomb us again. Look, that mentality, that way of thinking is antiquated. I mean, it's you're just not seeing the picture. You're just not seeing it. You're just not seeing what really this means, the kind of implications this has on a society, on a citizenry, on a people, in an ever-growing police state. We live in a police state, people. That's the bottom line. And it continues to grow and grow. And the more we do it, the more that this happens, the more these individuals, the more these stories come through, the more we see these individuals are not held accountable. We've seen story after story after story. I guarantee you, most of these TSA individuals will not be suspended, will not be fired. It's ridiculous. Man had to walk through the fucking airport soaked in his own urine. He had to sit on a flight soaked in his own urine because some ignorant asshole wouldn't listen. And because of some draconian procedure that requires you to have your body violated against your will in front of everyone. It's ridiculous. The people that opt out are made examples of. Period. End of story. And now you're seeing all of these instances where now law enforcement agencies and and the TSA and everyone else are able to restrict your ability to fly if you choose to opt out. They can detain you. They can detain you for choosing not to go through a body scanner. An innocent person who chooses... What happened to innocent until proven guilty? It's a fucking justice system, man. Which is fucked. It's broke beyond belief too, but it's still the basic principle of the goddamn justice system. Innocent until proven guilty. So where do these agencies, where do these people get off and believe they have the authority to restrict anything and take away anyone's rights? It's bullshit. And everybody needs to come together on this. We've talked about it over and over and over again. There's a lot of things that we deal with, we put up with, for the sake of public safety and under the guise of public safety and counterterrorism and all these other things. When you look at all of it, it's all large plates of steaming bullshit. There's agendas and campaigns that are being carried out under the guise of so many of these things. And that Hoyos group, that's some scary shit. The TSA, the leader of the TSA with this woman that had the prosthetic breast, they said they don't even discuss prosthesis. This gentleman filed a complaint because his urostomy bag busted. He's going to file a complaint. You think it's going to go any farther than that? And now, Muslims are exempt. What the fuck? Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think anyone should be subjected. Muslim, Christian, Jew, otherwise. Whatever your religious preference, whatever your background, whatever your race, your creed, I don't care. It's got nothing to do with that. This is a human issue. Got it? Human being issue. Nobody should be subjected to it. But I'll tell you what's so fucking hypocritical is based on religious beliefs. They're exempt? Are you kidding me? It's an example of the individuals who make the rules, who are in power, having free reign to do whatever the fuck they want. And there's nothing anyone is doing about it. There's been some protests. I love that protests in Germany. Jack Look 4 has it featured on her channel. But there's small instances. We need mass movements. Unified fronts that can be absolutely peaceful and lawful. But this shit needs to stop. I mean, it's disgusting. Some of these instances we've seen are disgusting. You all know this. And for those of us that speak out against it or will challenge it or will opt out, it's just not going to be enough. It's not going to be enough unless everyone opts out and we shut the shit down. Everyone opt out for a whole day. Let's see how the airlines run if everyone opts out for an entire day, 24 hours. Let's see. Hell, let's make it 48 or 36. Shit would come to a crashing halt, and you'd see some changes. Quick. You just got to get together on it, people. We need to not be scared of the repercussions. Because the repercussions are the waning, the destruction of our rights, civil rights, human rights, basic human rights that we all share. That's the outcome. Should we do nothing? So, it's kind of my 2 cents. A little bit of a rant. So anyway, comment, respond, whatever you'd like to do or not. But everybody have a good rest of the Sunday.